Hi ladies, so I'm a few minutes late. I thought I could actually manage to do this from my computer, but of course it didn't work. So I just quickly grabbed my phone. And here I am. I did promise you a live series about bloating. So, the timing of these things is always a bit difficult because when you ask people when is a good timing, then basically everyone has a different time that works for them, and in the end people are also then not showing up at that time. So I just thought around lunchtime would be easy for some people to pop in. And anyways, as I said also to a member in the group earlier, if if you can't watch, if you can't make it live, then you can just watch it afterwards in the group. No worries about that. So I haven't gotten any questions, but basically I see a lot of problems with bloating with my clients, and especially I see it with women in perimenopause, that it's something that seems to be creeping up. And so there can be several reasons for this, and they can be rooted in the gut. That's usually where our first thoughts are going, right? But actually one of the most common reasons for bloating, and I've experienced this myself on several occasions, is when your liver is overloaded. So your liver is, that organ that is here underneath your right rib cage, together with your gallbladder. And your liver is actually the one who's producing gastric juices. It's producing bile for your gallbladder to squirt out. That helps you detoxify. So it helps actually to remove toxins from the how do you say that, not your feces yet, but basically it's, the bile will be added to your food, and then it goes all, through your digestive tract, and then actually it helps to sort out those toxins in your feces in the end before they get excreted. So it's not only important for our fat digestion, it's also very important for our detoxification. And then what happens actually is when we have an accumulation of toxins is that our liver is overworked. So, I always like to use this analogy of, you're at work and your desk, imagine your desk just piling up with files and files. And I mean, now we live in digital age, so, we don't have that much paper anymore, but I guess you get the analogy, right? So basically, things are just piling up, and in our case, it will be toxins and not files. And so the liver is just, trying to work against that, but it, at one point it just gets too much. And the problem that we have in our world today is that it seems, basically we can't even avoid toxins anymore. Even if we eat organic and we filter our water and we clean up our beauty products and our cleaning products, but I mean there's so many toxins still in organic food, in free range foods, in basically the better choices that we make. There's still so much toxins, and even just going outside. I mean, I live in Belgium and I've been complaining about the smog we've had here for the past 3 months. So, just going outside and breathing that damn air is also not healthy. So, that always, of course, depends on where you live. But there's also people, who live in the States and in California where, there's been all these wildfires, or, there's always something that impacts the air quality, and there's actually few places anymore where we can breathe, pure air. So, I mean, these are all toxins, that come into our body from the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the products that we put on our skin, also, just taking a shower or bathing in water, going to the swimming pool, you name it. I mean, you know, using laundry detergents that, so it all comes onto our skin, right? And there's just so much. There's so much plastics. There's so much of the PFAS and heavy metals and other chemicals that are in literally everywhere, also hormones. And we consume these things every day, and our liver is helping us to, you know, get rid of these things. So also our kidneys, of course. But I mean, you're just getting the picture, right? The liver has a lot to do. And then also don't forget stress, you know, any mental, emotional stress or physical stress, it's also impacting our liver. And so maybe let's talk a little bit about, you know, when you say like, well, no, my liver's fine, you know, I don't have all these toxins, or, you know, that's not my case. But basically what I see is, you know, the older we get, also the worse it gets if we don't, you know, do detox all the time or on a regular basis, the more we have also accumulated, you know, all these toxins. And so it does affect our liver. And, you know, one other really common symptom that I see come along with that is hot flashes. And of course, that's also, you know, a very known symptom of menopause. But then I've had hot flashes, although I'm not in menopause yet and my estrogen is not low yet. Usually it's low estrogen that causes hot flashes. And I've also only ever had them at night. So when you get hot flashes at night, typically between 1 and 3 a.m. is when your liver is working. So when you wake up at that time and you're feeling hot, likely it's not your hormones, it's not menopause, it's your liver being overworked and, you know, doing overtime. And basically that kind of gives this, you know, feeling of hot and that can prevent you from sleeping for sure. So that's one thing that could, you know, indicate that it's your liver. Another thing is also, you know, I've had this really when it was really pretty bad, that I actually couldn't eat anymore. I just felt this kind of sense of excess fullness, even, you know, when I just started eating and I may have been hungry and I started eating and I was like, oh, I'm full, you know, it's like really this, or even like pressure or pain, you know, around this area. So, you know, and that's also when you know, where you get that bloating, right? So you have that bloated belly. So that's, these can all be signs of liver overload. And, you know, one that's true for me and also for many people is your skin. You know, when your liver is not working or overworked, you will see it on your skin as well, because you have all these toxins that kind of need to come out, and that will show on your skin. So you can have worsening of inflammatory skin conditions, or you can also, you know, have like zits or pimples on your face, or, you know, some sort of rashes or things like that. So that can all be linked to your liver being overworked. Right, I think this is actually everything. You know, I wanted to break this down into 3 short parts. So next week I'm going to talk about more about bloating, and then we're going to talk about, you know, how your intestines work into that. And yeah, I mean, I will post this now in the group, and if you have any other questions that I didn't tend to, then just feel free to comment on the post and I will answer that. All right. So I wish you a wonderful day and I hope you found this useful, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, and I actually forgot to talk about the solutions, because I know most of you actually have downloaded my Banish the Bloating guide. So I know that you have that information probably. But I mean, obviously, the solution to that is to help your liver flush out more toxins. So, you know, you're relieving that burden, really, that toxic load, and that your liver can, you know, work better and more fluently. And so one of the solutions to that is to do a detox. And that can be, you know, doing like a full detox program. So spring is usually a good time to do that when the seasons change. It can also be, I recently ran a 5-day detox challenge, and I'm surely going to repeat that, where I teach just non-invasive detox techniques that you can actually use every day. But it's also about looking where, you know, in your life, where are these toxins coming from? You know, is it from the food that you eat? Do you maybe need to choose organic? Or, and I said, you know, there's organic, there will still be pesticides in your food, but it will be much less. So there's better choices that you can make, and that can, you know, be the case for you. You could, you know, swap out your Teflon pans, or get rid of plastic containers, you know, opt for a natural deodorant, or, you know, these kind of things. So it's about, you know, taking a good look into your household and what's going on in your life, and see where you can possibly make better choices that are less toxic. But then there's also other things, like I've been battling with mold. So that's something, you know, I've been exposed to mold for a good while in our bedroom, black mold, and it's made me really, really sick. And now it's, you know, it's still sitting a little bit in my intestines and in my lungs. And those bacteria that are, you know, that have settled in, those pathogens, they're actually producing toxic byproducts that, you know, mess up my skin, and that really cause a lot of overload for my liver. So, you know, it could be, you know, it can be rooted then actually in the gut, but still affecting the liver. It can just be, you know, exposure to toxins like, you know, pesticides. Glyphosate is a big one that can also cause, you know, a lot of brain fog, or, I mean, so, you know, and heavy metals. So it can be, of course, in, you know, the foods you eat, the water you drink, you know, if you eat salmon all the time, or especially tuna is very contaminated, swordfish. So, you know, these kind of fish can be very high in heavy metals, and if you eat them all the time, that's maybe something you want to ease up on. But there's also, you know, heavy metals in many other foods, because it's also in the soils, you know, it's in plant foods like rice, or teas, or coffee as well, or chocolate, unfortunately. So, I mean, it's not about like completely avoiding those foods, but maybe, you know, some people are, you know, canned tuna, it's delicious and it's very easy, right? So some people may actually be eating that 3 times per week. So if you are, well, maybe you're going to choose, you know, other sorts of fish that are as easy and but not as contaminated. So it's about that. And then there's, you know, that there can be other exposures, like depending on where you live, or you know, pesticides are mostly in the grains, but also on produce, and can even be in wine, and so it can be in many things that we consume. So, you know, these are things to look at for sure. So just wanted to add that. I hope you found it helpful. And for anyone who's interested in joining my spring cleanse, that's coming up in March. So you may want to consider it, or wait for another detox challenge that I'm running. I will definitely talk about that here in the group as well.